Hi, my Fude friends. So I wanted to do some quick comparisons between my Koyudo White Canadian Squirrel brushes with my Takeda White Pine Squirrel brushes. Just kind of go over some similarities, some differences, and what I enjoy with both. So we'll start with the Koyudo White Canadian Squirrel brush. And as you can see, this brush is just heavenly. It's one of my most treasured brushes in my entire collection. I've actually been able to use this with bronzer. Dip it in the bronzer, blend, and it just buffs and blends all in one. It does my bronzer. It applies my bronzer in the most effortless way, and it's so quick, almost to the point where it's too quick, and I'm like, wait, I enjoy this brush too much. I don't want to be done. I just adore it. It's so fluffy and just so beautiful. And I've had it laying down in its case, so it's a little bit flatter on this side, but nonetheless, it's just beautiful. Such a beautiful brush. Definitely stands out for sure. And I'll compare with that my Takeda 19 SOVD 40 in the White Pine Squirrel. And this brush is also dirty. It has bronzer on it, but I've used it in the same manner to where dip it in the bronzer, apply, and it buffs and blends all in one in the most effortless way, in the most airbrushed way. It's just beautiful. So maybe those who have missed out on the White Canadian Squirrel brushes would really enjoy Takeda's White Pine Squirrel because it is a great alternative. The hair is very, very, very fine, just like White Canadian Squirrel. Maybe it doesn't fluff out as much as the White Canadian Squirrel does. And you can definitely see the color difference, whereas White Canadian Squirrel has the more white, whereas the White Pine Squirrel really just is white at the tips. But the softness is very similar. I mean, they almost feel identical, in my opinion. Just a really, really, really good alternative to the Koyudo White Canadian Squirrel. And then we have the CDJapan and Koyudo collaboration that they bring out every so often. This brush is beautiful for blush. I just adore it. And what's funny is I have my Koyudo White Canadian Squirrel. And at first I was hoping I wouldn't regret getting this one because I already had this one. But the shapes are very different. This one's more rounded on mine. This one's a little bit more squared off. So I really don't mind having both. This one's also been laying down, as you can tell. But yeah, I was just happy to have them both because they're different in a way. And I'm sure as a collector, you can definitely see the slight differences as well. So I'm happy to have them both. But I definitely wanted to compare my Takeda 16 SOVD 34. This is White Pine Squirrel compared to the Koyudo White Canadian Squirrel. And this one is 1 millimeter shorter, or anyways, it's advertised as 1 millimeter shorter as this one, but they actually look very close. Very, very close in length. But again, this is a great alternative to the Koyudo White Canadian Squirrel. In my opinion, the softness is just very similar. You know, both great for blush application. So for anyone who maybe missed out on the Koyudo cheek brush, you know, this is like a really good option. And then I have my other Takeda. This is also a 16 SOVD, but it's 38 millimeters. So as I showed in my last video, just a few millimeters different than this one. But it's just good to have them in different lengths. When you like a bristle type, you just want them in different lengths, honestly. And this one's used too, this one's not. So you can see the color difference, but that's just because this one's used. I used it with the Gucci blush, that new Gucci blush, and oh my gosh, dream team. So yeah, I mean, honestly, again, for me, I love them both. I love the Takeda white pine squirrel. I love the Koyudo white Canadian squirrel. But I feel that if I was someone who maybe missed out on the Koyudo, you know, Takeda is a great option. It's going to be less costly than the Koyudo white Canadian squirrel. But honestly, though, I am very grateful to have the small powder brush, especially. I mean, this brush is just absolutely a dream. I just adore this brush. Very, very happy with the bundling on mine. It's beautiful. But if I was a collector who missed out, you would not be skimping on quality with these Takeda white pine squirrel. I mean, they are just heavenly. And the softness is literally, to me, the same. Maybe just slightly more silkiness with this Koyudo than this, but honestly, when you touch it to the skin, it's really hardly noticeable. They're both just so beautiful, and I'm so happy to have all the different bristle types in my collection. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little comparison between, and I'll see you guys in my next one.